Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.
And that Shabad starts off with the lines of Chadana, Chadana Angan, Parabjiyu Antar Chadana, and then this is the second line from that Shabad, where Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pachi is saying that Araadhana, Araadhana Nika, Har Har Naam, Araadhana. So the word Araadhana, who's familiar with this word and has heard this word before, Araadhana? Okay, you've heard, okay, a few of you. So those of you that are familiar with Gurbani and listen to Kirtan, read Gurbani, have probably come up with this word before. It's come up before in Gurbani whilst you're reading or listening. So let's try and see if we can try and guess what it actually means. Anybody? So those of you that have heard the word before, Guru Sahib is saying Araadhana, Araadhana Nika, Har Har Naam, Araadhana.
So not to dwell on it.
Sorry?
To dwell on it.
Okay, that's a good way of looking at it. So it's quite wide in the way we can actually look at this word. And if we do look at the general translation, if we look at Sikhi to the max, the general English translation, it'll come up with and it will translate it to meditation, to meditate. Okay, so Araadhana they will translate to meditate. Okay, and so we've got something called the Mahan Kosh, which is written by Ghan Singh Nabha, and which is all of the words within Guru Granth Sahib Ji that have been translated, so like a dictionary of Guru Granth Sahib Ji's words. And this is now available as a PDF as well, online, very readily to buy. And then there's some apps as well now on our phones. The app called Shabad Kosh, where you can just type in the word and it will come up with the translation. It has now been translated into English too. The English comes in 4 volumes, and again it is already available as a PDF. So you can type in the word from Gurbani and you can have the translation come up. So the way this word's been translated is saying that the word Araadhana, even though it's commonly translated as to meditate, but the translation that by Ghan Singh Nabha used is Seva, Puja and Upasana, which translate to service, worship and devotion. And just to try and understand these words a little bit better as well, because sometimes I think that even words like serving, service, worship, devotion, I think we use them a lot, but I find that we don't dwell into them enough to just try and understand what it actually means to serve and what service actually means, what worship actually means. So what I've done is, the reason this isn't something I would normally do, but I've just gone into a normal English dictionary just to see what translation they will provide us with things like service and worship and devotion. Just to show you guys that how available it is for you yourself to do research. And you don't really have to go far. And the way they came up with many translations, and this is one that I picked at, that I kind of connected to, where it said that service, they translated to the performance of duties by a servant. It's very interesting the way this has been translated. We'll have a look at that later on in the presentation. So keeping these in mind, that Araadhana, so just to break out of that thought of when we see something translated in English, just think that that's all it can mean and that's what it means. So that's one thing we've all got to come to an understanding of, that Gurbani is the Gurbani which is in Gurmukhi. Everything else you see, the English translation isn't always going to be the best translation that we normally see. Okay, it helps, it assists us, it's good in the beginning, but it is a very loose translation. There is a lot missing in there. Sometimes there's words completely missed. Obviously all the metaphors in Gurbani are not explained within the Sikhi to the max translations that we normally see. Okay, and that is by Sant Singh Khalsa. And then looking at the word worship, this is one translation that I found in the dictionary, which is basically is talking about unconditional love, and where we haven't when we've got a relationship with someone, when we're worshipping someone. To worship someone, it the best way to look at it is when there's no expectation from my side, and I have no desire within that. I have no expectation to have to receive anything in return, but just out of absolute unconditional love, I'm worshipping. And then devotion is commitment to some purpose. So devotion is when you're completely focused and you completely give yourself to something. So if we try and put this line together now, if we go backwards, Araadhana, Araadhana Nikah. Another word here is Nikah. That often comes up in Gurbani as well. And another very famous Pangti in a Shabad that we probably have, most of us have heard over here, is Madho Ham Aise, Tum Aisa. And when Guru Sahib says, Ham Papi, Tum Pap Khandan. And then when Guru Sahib says, Ham Papi, Tum Pap Khandan, Niko, Thakur, Desa. That word comes there as well, Niko, Thakur, Desa. It comes here as well, Nikah. So, any idea over here, someone, what the word Nikah means?
Is it great? Or
Very close, yes. So, Nikah is translated to beautiful. So, if we just keep in mind now the other translations to Araadhana, so it can mean, it can mean to contemplate, it can mean to be at service, it can mean devotion, worship, but we can use the translation as to meditate as well, which is often what you will see. So now it's talking about, so what is the most sublime, what is the most beautiful, what is the meditation of all meditations? Guru Arjan Dev Ji saying that Araadhana, Araadhana Nikah, Har Har Naam Araadhana. They're saying to meditate on God's name. That is the meditation of all meditations. That is the most sublime meditation. That's what Guru Arjan Dev Ji is saying. But to understand that now, that means we'll need to have an understanding of what meditation means. So, meditation, to meditate. What I've done is, again, I've just taken a caption from a very Western kind of philosophy of what meditation is. And when we think the word meditation, often we'll have a picture of something like this within our mind, and we think this to be meditation. I'm not saying it's not, or I'm not saying it is, but often now within the Western way of looking at meditation, this is how we end up thinking meditation to be. Being in a very relaxed environment, sitting in a certain posture, having our eyes closed, back straight, you know, and so this is how we often see meditation to be. And I've just taken this another caption just randomly off the internet, which I do feel is quite a nice way of looking at what meditation means. This Araadhana means saying, so just basically saying the goal of meditation is to focus and quiet your mind, eventually reaching a higher level of awareness and inner calm. So, over to the Sangat. Can we have some of your definitions to what meditation is for you? What does Araadhana mean for you? And you can give me a very personal kind of perspective. You can give me what you have just heard. Or you can try and give me a perspective of what Araadhana, of what this service, of what this meditation, what can this mean through the eyes of Guru Sahib? So, over to you guys. Personally, I think that's the easiest way to look at it. What would Araadhana, what would meditation be for you? And there's no right or wrong, I would say in this case, because it's personal. Okay, Benji?
I think it's clearing my mind.
Excellent, okay. So we spoke a little bit about that in the morning as well in the Hukamnama. So for Benji, like meditation is like cleansing the mind. Anyone else? Oh, Baji man, look, that's like little kids, isn't it?
No.
You have to wait till I pick you, man. Can't fight. Benji, yours first.
It's like finding a moment to connect with Mother.
Excellent. Yep, I like that. That finding that moment to connect, to make that connection, that deep connection with a God, with our Creator. Okay, or Guru Sahib Ji. Yes. All right, Baji, go on then.
Well, I had one for just from the bar side, but I've got a bit of an ankle issue. So for me, mine was almost like leaving my body to a certain extent, because when we were in Iran, where you've got, say, a pain of in your mind somewhere else.
Yes.
When we're actually in Iran and your mind is in that inner peace, like you almost feel like you're with your body to the point you don't think of these injuries or any ailments or anything like that. You're somewhere else. To me, it's almost like you've left your body and you're in another world almost.
So excellent. So it's like So Viji is saying it's being in a place, in a state of mind when you're not even aware of the pains of your body, when you've gone beyond that connection to this sharir, to this body. I'm sure most of us here have experienced that at some point in their lives when they're so absorbed in something and they're not aware of their own bodily pains or anything. And that happens very often, you know, like you're in the Darbar Sahib, your knees playing up and you're struggling to sit, and then all of a sudden there's kirtan being done and there's this just automatic connection, and you don't even know that you've got to go down, never mind it hurting, and it's just, you're totally just lost because your mind has gone beyond your body now. Okay, so let's take about 2 more.
So it's kind of, for me, it's emptying my mind and connecting to Waheguru and listening for what he wants.
Excellent.
For me and all that.
That's for listening for what he wants. It's really good. That's a nice way to put it. So
For me, it's just calming the mind.
Yeah.
okay.
Because, you know, you're getting all the interference in the mind.
Uh-huh.
You know, you're here thinking about your, you know, children, thinking about this or work, something like that. It's calming
Okay.
the mind.
Great, cool. Benji, can I get your name? Should we get your input as well?
Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
Sorry?
Elizabeth?
Okay. Your version of meditation to you?
Very similar, just having the space to concentrate in a
Okay.
very singular kind of.
Excellent. So, like Baljit Singh said, to be focused, okay, and have that singular mindset. Excellent. So, very similar things that come out, and that it's very similar to what's been said over here as well. What I just randomly picked up on the internet. So, but why? Why are we seeking? Why? So now, what's coming through from this? Why are we seeking for this calmness, for the mind to just stop? There's got to be a greater reason for why that is. What's so amazing about being singular-minded, being focused? What's so amazing about having that moment when you just connect? What is it that we're connecting to? What is it that we're all yearning for, longing for? There's something that's happening inside constantly. We might not be aware of it, but we're seeking that. And we're trying to listen to something inside. There's something inside that's happening. And Bhagat Ravidas ji speak of this. And Bhagat Ravidas ji said that how bala bala jao ramaiya karane. So I'm going to use Gurbani throughout the presentation. Bhagat Ravidas ji saying home means myself, I, home bala bal. Bal means to be a sacrifice. Bhagat Ravidas ji says how bala bala jao ramaiya karane. Oh my Waheguru, oh Akal Purkh, oh my Lord, that may I be a sacrifice to you. Again and again. Why? Because I just want to have that connection with you. I'm ready, I'm willing to sacrifice anything I need to just to have that moment of connection. And then he says something amazing, Bhagat Ji does. He says, Karan Kavan Abol. They come to realize something. They said, what's Karan means reason. And then Karan Kavan. They said, what? Kavan means what? They said, what is that reason that you are not speaking to me? And now they're speaking out to their creator, to Waheguru. This is, what's that reason why you are not speaking to me? That means that our creator is constantly speaking to us. That's why we want things to go quiet. That's why it feels so amazing to still our mind, because then that inner intuition kicks it in. That guidance, that gut feeling that somebody is talking to us and guiding us. And another Bhagat, I think it was Bhagat Namdev Ji, and another Bhagat in Gurbani also said, Sabhe, within all, everyone, Sabhe kat Ram bole. Within each and everyone's hearts, that Ram, that our creator is speaking to us. Sabhe kat Ram bole, Rama bole. Ram is speaking to us, he's emphasizing the point. Sabhe kat Ram bole, Rama bole. Then he says Ram bina ko. Then he asks us a question, Bhagat Ji does. He says, Ram bina ko bole re. He said, who else do you think it is other than Akal Purkh, other than our creator, that is speaking to us deep inside of our heart? There is no other. But we can't hear that voice until our mind is going crazy, until there's abundance of thoughts running through. I remember there's nothing wrong with thoughts running through our mind, because that is the function of our mind. Our mind has 4 parts. And within those 4 parts, one part is called manas, which creates thoughts, which is a function that we need to survive. But what does it mean to go quiet? Is when we're able to become the witness to what is happening within my own mind. When I'm able to watch over these thoughts, when I'm able to watch over these things, I'm going quiet and I'm becoming separate to these things. And then when I start to still and go quiet, then I can connect with something beyond all of this world, that everything I've perceived with my senses, then I can connect with the ultimate truth that is guiding me every step of the way. And everyone here, I'm sure, again, has had some form of experience of that in their lives, when they've got this absolute gut feeling. And remember, look, it's not like, remember when we're talking about somebody speaking to you here, that Akal Purkh, our Creator, speaking to us, it's not obviously in these words that we use. So it's not like one day have this amazing connection and I hear Baljit Singh, ek minute, baja, gal karni tenne. You know, so it's not those type of words. So Bhagat Kabir ji say that jaha bolte achhar awa. This says that letters are created, and a language is created through our mind. But when we go to a place beyond our mind, there is no language there, there is no mind there, there is no letters there. But what happens is that language that Waheguruji speaks to us with is when we have that moment of that special connection. It has no words, it's just an intuition, it's a feeling and it's an experience. But then what we do is, then we give that connection a set of words to understand what we need to do in life through our mind, which Bhagat Kabir ji also speak about. Bhagat Kabir ji says, Jaha abol te man na rahawa. They said when God speaks to us, which is beyond language and words, they says that is a place where it's beyond the mind. But then we take that message, which is without words, then we put it into words. So then I comprehend it and then I put it into words saying, this is what I'm being asked to do and this is what I need to do. But remember, this gut feeling, this intuition, it's the first feeling that you will get. But our mind is so fast and it is so bombarded with information through my senses, within milliseconds it will override what that connection is. And what then happens is then we fall into something what Gurbani talks about is dobada, is duality. And then we're confused. Do I do this? Do I do that? Is this right or is that wrong? Because we're so overpowered with. But eventually, with practice of inner cleansing and becoming more aware, that connection and that guidance becomes more clear. And we're able to, and then it's not overridden so quick and fast. But let's just move on. And so imagine when we talk about Gurbani, I don't want it to be that you guys are looking at this and thinking that Bhagat Ravidas ji, 600-700 years ago, this is him and that's him and he's God. So when we talk, what we need to do is, we need to have this experience and bring this experience into the now. So let's put ourselves now in the shoes of Bhagat Ravidas ji and say and make that connection inside right now and have this conversation with God right now. And say to Waheguruji, how I, not Bhagat Ravidas ji now, this is me saying this, how bal jaun, I will sacrifice wherever I need to, Ramaiya Karane, for my Waheguruji, just to have that moment of connection with you. Because I know only within that connection will I get to experience true bliss and true happiness and true peace of mind and true contentment. Nothing yet so far in this world that I've perceived through my senses has been able to provide me with that. So we should be saying that to Waheguruji right now, and then we should be saying that Karan, Kavan, Abol, what is that reason? Why? Why am I failing to hear you? And there's a system for God to take pity on us. When God sees us in this state crying out for that connection, and then what will happen? And then just before that, Bhagat Ravidas ji says, Ham sar deen diyal na tum sar. Bhakt Ravidas Ji says, Hamsar Deen, there's nobody that is as meek, that is fallen, that is as hopeless as I am. Hamsar Deen Diyal na tum sar, but I'm in chance here because there is nobody as compassionate and as kind as you. So if there's nobody as hopeless as me, when you see people that have fallen or flat on the ground, you take pity on them, you pick them up. So Bhakt Ravidas Ji is saying, Ab patiyar kya kije? Is there any other reason now? Is there any more reasons now for even testing me now? I'm saying that I can't get any lower. I'm saying that I have no cleverness. I'm saying I have failed. And this is when the pity comes. But then Bhakt Ravidas Ji asks for something amazing. Just like I have, and just like you would have had as well, when you've had that connection, when you felt that somebody beyond this world is talking to you. Bhakt Ravidas Ji says, I've had those moments too. He says, but this is Bachani Tor Mor Man Manne. This is Bachani Tor Mor Man Manne Jan Ko Puran Dije. What he's saying then is, but let me have faith in what you are saying to me. Because just because we hear that, remember, in Japji Sahib, we go through the stages. We go through 4 paudiyaan of Suniya, meaning listening. So we might be privileged to be able to hear God talk to us, but we might not be at that level to have faith that it is God and to have faith in following those words. So then Bhakt Ravidas Ji does another benti saying, Bachani Tor, in your words, Bachani Tor Mor Man Manne, let my mind have faith in your words, in that intuition when I have that moment. And this is that Jan ko Puran Dije, give Puran means complete, and he's saying, give me that complete faith in your words. So what I'm doing is, what you probably notice, is going slightly off the translations that are on the board. And that again is helping you to break away from thinking that this translation is final. It's a very weak translation. To go to understand, have a deeper translation, it's very important that we take that step to learn Gurmukhi and then contemplate on Gurbani. So we might be able to hear something, it doesn't mean we have faith in that. And that's the same now for Guru Sahib's Bani. We might hear Guru Sahib's words, but it doesn't mean we've got faith in Guru Sahib's words. Okay, so, you know, obviously that's like a bit deep. And then sometimes we have to like back up. And we have to sometimes take steps back to put all of this into perspective and to get ourselves to that point. Because having that connection inside isn't an easy task. Especially not in today's age. Not within all the challenges that we have. Not with our phones frying our brains. Not with having everything to the tip of our finger and like not giving our mind even a chance to contemplate. So, for me, to get ourselves to that level of being completely focused, I think we need to go way back. And how back do we need to go? I think we need to understand what it means to be a Sikh. I think we need to understand what Sikhi is. That's how we need to go back to the very first step. And I think we're losing the essence sometimes of what it means to be a Sikh. And we're creating now, because our mind is so clever, it's creating our own definitions now of what it means to be a Sikh. So again, over to the Sangat. What does Sikh mean? What does the word Sikh mean? Literal translation. Let's have some literal translations first, and then we can go into what it means to you as well. Okay? Benji?
A student, someone who's learning.
Excellent. So we've got student, learning. Any other definitions?
Disciple.
Okay. Vrinda Singh should know all of this stuff because he edits for our videos. So don't expect you to really answer. Anyone else got another definition?
Don't ever give up.
Excellent. That's an excellent way of looking at it. I've never heard it said like that before. I'll use that. Thanks, Benji. I'll pretend it's mine. No, so that's an excellent way of looking at it. But why are we commonly translating the word Sikh to learner? Why?
Because
Because we're always learning.
Okay, we're always learning. But just why that? Because obviously it sounds like a Punjabi word, doesn't it?
Sikhna.
Like sikhna, sikhya. Okay, to learn, sikhna. But the word Sikh has been defined within Gurbani itself by using different words. And we're going to go through some of the words that the word Sikh has been defined with. And then we will learn that the word Sikh isn't inspired from the Punjabi word sikhna, but instead comes from a Sanskrit word, shish. And shish means disciple. Very different to a learner. A learner is what we're becoming more now, meaning observing information, absorbing information and just accumulating it, and just when somebody learns, they don't have to necessarily follow. But a disciple, a shish, means a student, means a follower, which is different to a learner. We're doing a lot of learning in today's age. There's a lot of people learning about Sikhi, but that doesn't mean they're becoming a Sikh. Becoming a Sikh means to become a disciple and a follower. And that is defined in Gurbani. So it's come from the Sanskrit word. So remember how we said Araadhana, to meditate, can also mean to serve. But to serve, wouldn't it make sense to serve, to become a servant first to serve? Make sense? Let me give you a difference of what the difference is of just serving, which isn't wrong as well, which is a very positive thing to do. But then what's the difference of just being in service and doing some sort of seva, and then what's the difference in becoming a servant and then serving? Huge difference. Imagine now you've got some praune come over, you've got some friends and family come over to your house, and then whilst everybody comes round, you know, you'll have some nice food to eat and stuff, and then afterwards one of your visitors that have come round, they decide, you know what, you carry on, you're doing so much, you've got to prepare the dessert and stuff, I'll just start washing the pande, I'll start washing up the dishes. So somebody comes, and that's a service. They're doing something, okay? They're serving in some form of way, they're starting to wash the dishes. Because a service could just mean something that is required to do, something that needs to be done. So something that is practical and logical, something needs to be done, and somebody starts doing it. So somebody starts washing the dishes, they finish washing the dishes, and I turn around and go, Benji, can you go and change our bed sheets as well? And they're our visitors, they're just like, they've come for dinner. Just out the goodness of their heart, they've washed the dishes. I'm like, oh, Benji, you're so the best, Ravi sare tole. Benji swere time nahi si lagga, kashere vi paya, oh vi naal to do. You know, I was like, I didn't get time in the morning, do my kashere as well. And if you want to stop the night, the grass needs cutting in the morning. And they're thinking, what a weirdo. Yeah, I was just really helping out, washing your dishes, innit? I ain't gonna wash your bed sheets. It just makes no sense. So that's what it means to just do seva, to be in service. It means people come to the Gurdwara and they wash the dishes, they clean the shoes, they do the hoover, they mop the floor. And these are all things that need doing, and it's a great thing to be doing. It's very positive, bringing your body into the Guru sanctuary, being around this positive vibe. It's helping break down our ego, and it's something that needs doing. But there might be a servant, but there might not be a servant. There might be a servant of the Guru, but there might not be a servant of the Guru. How do we know the difference in who is then serving as a servant and who is just there out of just doing some convenient service?
Would the people who wouldn't, would they be like, look at me, I'm doing all this?
Not quite, but that's a very good way of looking at it. Yeah, so obviously then there's that ego element that kicks in too. But let's look at some Bani and we'll try and put this all together. So,
would a servant be one who would keep carrying on even through thick and thin?
yes, so that is definitely one of the things of a servant. But let's just have a look at this line and we'll kind of put it all together, but that is definitely one of the points which we are going to cover as well, hopefully through a story. In Gurbani, like I said, the word Sikh, Maharaji has used different words to describe who a Sikh is, and one of the words used to describe a Sikh is a chakar. The word chakar comes up and is used by Guru Nanak Dev Ji in Asadivar. Guru Nanak Dev says, Chakar lage chakri je challe khasme pae. Then this says, Hormat tisnu agli oho vajho pe duna khaye. And basically what that's meaning is, Guru Sahib says, Chakar lage chakri, there's a servant, Chakar is the servant, Chakar lage chakri, and he then devotes himself into service, but as a servant. Chakar lage chakri. So imagine now somebody is working at our house and we're paying that person, and then we say to that person that wash the dishes and go and get the sheets. For him it makes sense to do that because it's his job and he knows he's going to get something in return as well. So it wouldn't even seem odd. It'd seem odd to the visitor, but it wouldn't seem odd to a servant in your house. But over here, Guru Sahib is describing the Sikh as a chakar. This is chakar lage chakri je challe khasme pai. This is a chakar, meaning a Sikh is that person that is in service of the Guru, that walks in the will of his Guru, of his master. Je challe khasam, khasam means master, our master being our Guru. Je, only if, there's a condition here. What makes a servant, what makes a Sikh? Je, if. Je challe khasme pai, if he walks and does that thing that pleases his Guru. That's what makes a servant, that's what makes a Sikh. And the Guru Sahib just says, are they left empty? No. They said, just like a servant, if he starts to answer back, then his wages might be cut as well. If he starts to answer back, he might be thrown out of that job as well. But a true servant is that is going to get everything. If he just gets on with what's been asked to do, then Guru Sahib says, Hormat tisnu agli, his honor is then increased. Tisnu agli, oho vajho pi duna khai. Vajho means wages, his wages is increased as well. We get an abundance more back when we just follow what our Guru is saying. And I'll give you an example. How do we know the difference of what it means to just be doing service, which is a good thing as well? So not in any way am I being negative and saying that somebody should only be serving as a servant and there's no point of doing service without becoming a servant. What's the difference? Somebody could be at the Gurdwara Sahib, they're doing what really needs doing, they're serving the langar, they're washing the dishes. Guru Sahib Ji also says, Guru Sahib Ji may say to us to keep our case. But there, Guru Sahib Ji then talks about the other type of servant. Guru Sahib Ji says, Chakar lage chakri nale gar bavad. Sorry, I haven't put that quote up. So, very similar, the sound. But then the Guru Sahib Ji talks about the other type. This is Chakar lage chakri nale, but also with doing service, but nale garb, they've got this garb, they've got this pride inside of them. Nale garb vad. Vad means they've got this ability to debate and argue, so that they also refuse what the Guru asks them to do. This is nale garb vad. This is galna kare kaneriyan khasam na paye sa. This is, they talk a lot, they talk about love a lot, but not realizing love is surrendering, love is giving in to your Guru. Doing what your Guru is asking you to do isn't about the task, it's about having our ego broken. It says that galna kare kaneriyan khasam na paye sad, but said those that try and be clever and just speak a lot about this concept of love, but actually doesn't follow what their Guru says. This is khasam na paye, they've actually not had the true taste of their master yet. They've not had the true taste of love yet. They're sitting on the surface yet. But that doesn't mean not to do the other thing. So somebody that is just in service but hasn't become a servant could be that person that when Guru Sahib Ji is saying for a Sikh to keep their case, they're like, no, not me. I'm not that type of Sikh. Yeah, so then that doesn't make them a servant because they still got conditions with their Guru. And love isn't based within conditions. Love is just when the Guru says, I'm just there. So anyway, just understanding this little bit. And then there's another word, there's another description that by Gurdas Ji, I'm not going to go into now who that is, but by Gurdas Ji use of who a Sikh is as well. And then they relate a Gursikh to being like a dead person. Why a dead person? So first one we've got a servant, a Sikh is called a servant, and then by Gurdas Ji calls, then by Gurdas, what they've actually done is looking at, let's phrase that better. What by Gurdas Ji done is then actually given a definition of what a servant is. In this line by Gurdas Ji saying that Murde Vang Murid Hoye Gur Gori Vad Alak Alekha. What by Gurdas Ji saying that Murde Vang Murid Hoye. Murid means servant again. This says to be a servant you have to become like a dead person. Can anybody want to try and understand that and try and define that and in which way and how? So when Bhai Gurdas Ji is saying they're giving us a description of being like a dead person, that's what it means to be a servant of the Guru. And then this says Gur Gori. Obviously it's translated there as well, but you can try and put something together. Benji, you had a hand up at the back?
Yeah, I think we talked about it earlier a little, like you become dead to like samsara, right? So you
Become dead to?
You're like some sort of, so you're like free from death and rebirth, like
Mhm.
you won't be reborn, and therefore you're dead to like another physical sort of understanding. So you're like rejoining the Guru in that sense. Or like,
Okay. I think I get that. Right.
You're free from like the world, from Maya, right?
Okay,
And
yeah.
from the cycle of death and rebirth.
Okay. Cool. So
Or
shall we
not.
just give a Benji a chance? Benji had a hand up as well. Did you have your hand up? Oh, was it yourself?
Is it materialistic things that you've got you don't want to be interested in anything like that, and you're free from all of that?
Yeah.
That go along with
So you know what? Again, this is like open for translation, because I would say there's not like a fixed definition for this. So I'm always constantly learning. So I'm always robbing the sangat, and then I go and deliver their points. So yeah, that's an excellent way of looking at it as well. What is a servant? Is just you're saying they're becoming dead from
all the materialistic things around them.
Okay.
That doesn't mean anything
So-
anymore.
okay.
It's,
Okay, excellent.
I was going to say the similar thing.
Similar thing.
I was thinking more literally, like a dead person doesn't have any function of themselves, so they
Okay.
need direction, they need to be,
Yep.
they need to help.
So this is kind of what Bhai Gurdas Ji is more bringing forward to us in this particular example. And in the second part is then what both of you are saying. The first part links with that, and it can all merge together. So if we just try and put it into a bit of order. So imagine a dead person now. Mar gaye the koi. Hopefully not, but imagine somebody drops dead. And then, so obviously they've got no satya, they've got no bal, meaning they've got no strength of their self, because the strength within the body, everything happened because there was a light inside of them, there was a jyot inside of them. Everything was happening due to God's light inside. So imagine that light's gone now, and you can't say, Baljit, I'm dead. You can't say just 1 minute, just move out the way. I'm going to move out the way. I'm not even there. It's just the body left. So he can't move out the way. So then imagine, so you then get my arm. All right, I'll be the dead person. All right. You get my arm and you just place my arm there, move it out the way. Then have I got the power to put my arm back where it started? It'd be pretty freaky if I did do that, if I was dead. Yeah. So imagine that happening, innit? Like somebody's dead, like declared dead, like it's been days, and then they move again, you'd be, oh my God! Boot. Anyway, so a dead person is somebody that just has no say of themselves. You place their arm somewhere, their arm remains there. You place their head somewhere, their head stays there. That's what Bhai Gurdas Ji says. It means to be a Sikh. It means that you become murde wang murid hoye. You become a servant like a dead person. A dead person hasn't got any say of themselves. The Guru places them there. The Guru says, your eyes are not to look through a lustful way. You're not to look upon the body and the beauty of another other than your own wife. And then what do? You take your eyes like a dead person. Your Guru said, restrain them from there. You strain them from there. Wherever the Guru's placed you, the Guru says you wake up in the morning and you jap naam. There's no other option then. That's what you do. You do that with yourself. Because you're dead. You're dead to the Guru. And what does it mean, Gurgori? Gurgori is an amazing concept what Bhai Gurdas Ji's used. So imagine now burying somebody in the soil. What happens to the body eventually?
Decays.
There you go. And then so if now you go then, like if you go 100 years later and thinking, I want to still see that beautiful face of Baljit Singh. And what's so funny about that? Come on guys. You know. And you start digging up, that Pachara face ain't going to be left there, is it? You might still find a few traces of a few haddiyan, a few bones and stuff, but that skin definitely is not going to be there. By Gurdas Ji saying that's what it means to be a Sikh. That eventually, that you imagine the Guru is the grave, the Guru is the soil, that you eventually surrender and give yourself to the Guru to such an extent that you no longer remain. Just like when somebody digs up that grave, all they're going to find is soil, because that body has merged back into the soil and become the soil again. That's what we've got to do with ourselves, that we merge and become back and become one with our Guru, that nobody can then recognize the difference between a Gursikh and Guru Gobind Singh. Nobody can recognize the difference between Guru Arjan Dev Ji and a Gursikh, because the Gursikh has emerged and become one with the Guru, just like that dead body has merged back into the soil. This is an amazing, when I read these definitions, they blew my mind. That's why I always say to people, when they say that I'm a Sikh, these are all the definitions given to us by Gurbani, by Gurdas Ji. But my personal definition of a Sikh means to have a relationship with our Guru. And who is our Guru? Our Guru is the Shabad. Our Guru is the Bani. It means to have a relationship with Bani, means that we have got a relationship with the Guru. That's what it means to be a Sikh for me. Because then I'm not going off my own cleverness. I'm not going off what Fulana Singh said to me, what Fulana Kaur said to me. I know that what my Guru's expectation is. I know what my Guru's definition is of a Gursikh. I know what Bhai Gurdas Ji, who was the most predominant Gursikh during that time, who did darshan of 4 Guru Sahibans. I know who lived with the Gurus, and the Guru said, you are the key to understanding Gurbani. Then I'm learning from Gursikhs like that to what the definition is of a Sikh. That makes much more sense to me. That means having a relationship. That means being a Sikh. How can we be a Sikh and have no relationship with Bani? Makes no sense. That is like saying, it's like you're saying that I'm in love with somebody, but you don't even make that effort to learn the language of your partner. Imagine you end up marrying someone and they speak a completely different language, and you don't even make that sacrifice to learn each other's language, to be able to express to each other through a language. Imagine now having to call somebody. Imagine now I'm here missing my wife and my kids, you know, and like, you know, Baji's going now to Birmingham. I'm like, Baji, look, please give this message to my wife and my kids. Look, please tell them that, you know, I'm really missing them. I love them loads. I can't wait to see them. And Baji drives over in Birmingham, comes, and I'm there like nearly crying, saying, just please tell them how much, you know, miss them. He turns up at my house, knocks the door, and my wife's like, did he say anything? And he's like, yeah, he loves you. proper misses you, man. Really, yeah, he misses you. Anyway. You say that as well. All that love and all that, yeah. Then like my wife's like, yeah, is that it? Was that your enthusiasm? I was like, what? Yeah, he's like, he came and got a love you. I was like, bandar na hoye. That's not how I said it. And that's what happens when we're trying to make this relationship with our Guru, but through somebody else. We're not taking that time and effort to learn Gurmukhi and having that relationship one-on-one with Guru Sahib direct. That's like having a middle person. That's like not having that opportunity to have that intimate relationship and not having the opportunity to actually going and enjoying your partner's bed. Guru Nanak uses these examples all the time. This says that by speaking sweetly, by remaining in humility, I get to enjoy the bed of my husband, Lord. That's how intimate Guru Nanak was with God. That's how intimate we've got to become with Gurbani, but we've got to learn Gurmukhi first to have that intimate relationship. First hand. I thought this example was amazing, blew my mind away. Vad alak alekha. And Vad alak means like to merge yourself, to get into something, into alak alekha, where you began off where you could be seen, and then you become to a place, you reach a place where you can't be seen anymore. Meaning that somebody can't find my old personality in me anymore. They can't find Baljit Singh anymore. That arrogance that I had, that anger that I had, that became, that I thought was me, when that's not me. That's a complete separate entity. When I find me, I'm compassion, I'm love. I'm not saying I've found that yet, but I'm just saying that we end up thinking, you know, some people say, yeah man, well, take me as I am. Yeah, I'm hard work. Yeah, I'm a bully. I'm this, I'm that. Yeah, I hold on. I keep grudges. But that's me. Take it or leave it. That's not us. That's an illusion. That's separate to us. When we become mindful, when we become this witness, we'll be able to see these as separate entities coming to attack us. We'll actually be able to watch them. But that happens when we start to quieten our mind through the Guru's Bani. So Gur Sikh Meet, Chalo Ho Guru Chali, Guru Ramdas Ji. They're now giving a definition of a Sikh as well. They're saying Gur Sikh Meet, oh my friend, oh the Guru Sikh, which is my friend Guru Ramdas, in Gur Sikh Meet, Chalo Ho Gur Chali. They said walk in the Guru's stride, walk in the Guru's footsteps. So that's what it means to be a Gur Sikh, is following each step of your Guru. And that is again following the Bani. That's what it means to be a Gur Sikh. Then they're saying that Jo Gur Keh, whatever the Guru says, Jo Gur Keh Soi Pal Manho. Take that to be good. Whatever the Guru is asking and requiring from you to do. Because remember, who is the Guru? Yes, Sat Purkh Jin Janya, Sat Gur Tiska now. A Guru is that has gotten to know, that is one with Akal Purkh. So if we think we're trying to achieve enlightenment, if we think that we're trying to reach this place of peace, remember, we've not been there before. We were there before, but we're not enlightened right this moment to know exactly how to get there. But the Guru does. The Guru is there. The Guru is in between both worlds. The Guru is in this world and the Guru is in that world. The Guru can literally just pull us into that world. It's a guaranteed way. And he's saying, Jo Gur Keh, whatever the Guru is requiring from us, Soi Palamano, take that to be for your best interest. This is Har Katha Nirali. This is but bit of a panga here. Har Katha. But you know the story of God's world. So this isn't literally I'll tell you a story of God. But what this means is Har Katha. Katha means the stories, the explanation. But you know that world where God exists, Katha Nirali, it's a bit separate to what I've programmed myself to think what life is. It's a bit nirali, it's a bit distinct from the worldly way. They said, so be prepared to do some strange things. You may find yourself walking in a completely different direction to your group, to your friends, to your work colleagues, to your siblings, to your parents, to your children. This is a very distinct way. Be ready for this path if you really want to find peace, because finding God is finding peace. Because some people say, no, I'm not interested in God, I just want happiness. But happiness is God. God is happiness. So when somebody says I want happiness, in actual fact they're saying I want God. But they could be atheist, because only God is happiness. So, how do we find that connection? Somebody said to Guru Ramdas Ji, Guru Sahib Ji, what's the bare minimum I am required to do if I want to say I am a Sikh? So if somebody asks me, what faith do you belong to? If I want to return and say, I'm a Sikh, what's the bare minimum you require us to do? And then Guru Ram Das Ji said this. This is Gur Satgur Ka Jo Sikh Akhai. If you want to say I'm a Sikh, so palke uthe, then you're required to rise early in the morning. So palke uthe har naam tiyave. Tiyave, Araadhana, Tiyave means focus. Then you are to focus on God's name. And there must have been people sitting there thinking, why did you have to ask that? And now we have to get up in the morning. So guess what? When we hear things like this, because we think it's all about, you know, this hippie love, oh, I love God, but I don't have to do anything. I love my Guru, but I don't have to do anything for my Guru. But that's not what love is. Love is saying, you can cut me into half and I'll smile. Waking up in the morning, if that's what you require from me, that's what I'm going to do. But this is our enthusiasm when we think about things like this. So we're thinking, getting up in the morning. All right. So this is kind of most of our levels of enthusiasm. Thinking, like, I'll do anything to smash that alarm clock, you know, and I don't want to ever see you again. So, but before we just look into this whole concept of this whole Amrita Vela thing, the morning thing, getting up, I want to pick up something, because remember our topic is meditation, Araadhana, to go quiet so we can have this amazing connection with our God from inside, so we're constantly guided. Teyave. What does it mean to focus on God's name? Because most people, they translate this to, you wake up in the morning and the moment you open your eyes, you just go, okay, bang, jump in the shower. Then come on, okay, bang, we're at the office and he's editing videos.
Yep.
And no, I'm only joking. Alright, I thought it'd be good for the video, and it's like, so the editor gets a mention. Editor gets a mention in the video, you know. There you go.
What I'm not looking forward to is SYF cam videos, and you guys probably ripping me right there.
You have to find a picture of yourself when I say that now to put in the video.
Use that one.
Yeah. Try and pull a face like that. So anyway, what does it mean to focus on God's name? People, how do you focus on God's name?
You relax yourself first and then read the Gurbani.
Yeah, that's a nice simple way of looking at it. We will go into it.
When you recite God's name, then you also listen to it at the same point.
Okay, excellent. Getting somewhere now. Sunya as well. So you're listening to the name of God as well, not just saying the name of God. So being more. You spend a lot of time with me. You're going to cheat, innit? Because we've already done a lot of these vicharas. Are you going to cheat?
No. Go on.
Is it your own perspective?
Yeah.
Go on then.
Contemplate.
Yes. So this is like this deep sense of contemplation on God's name, but even that now is just becoming just words. Contemplate on God's name, you know, and then it's kind of even that is just becoming left at that, and is not enough understanding of what even contemplation is now. So we need to now start, now in our talks, we need to start explaining these words. So let's try and look at this through Japji Sahib. Let's just look at the literal translation of Tyave, Tyan, Araadhana is all very similar. We're going to try and understand this through Japji Sahib. Okay, so everybody in the mornings read these words. Everybody generally reads these words every day. So just to understand this concept of focusing on God's name and what we've ended up making it into, and the difference between the two. What does Guru Ram Das Ji want us to do the moment we wake our open our eyes in the morning? What is this? What does this mean? Jeta kita teta now. Everybody read this in the morning? Yes? Everybody's very familiar with these words, yes? So now, what does it mean over to the Sangat?
Naam is obviously naam.
Okay, so now we're just saying Naam. His name. There we go, we're getting somewhere.
Kita is to do.
Excellent. Kita is to do. Karana, doing. Okay. So, Jeta.
If you.
Okay, so this does catch a lot of people out. Okay. Jeta it means, Benji, do you know what Jeta means here in this context? Yes, jo vi kosh, whatever, everything, whatever has been kita, has been done by Waheguru, by our Creator, by God. So meaning everything that has come into existence, all the complete, entire creation, Jeta kita, whatever has been done by Waheguru, Jeta kita, teta, now. How would you put that into a sentence now? So I think the English translation is something like everything is a manifestation of your name. But I want to give it a different twist and different perspective to make it real for you, because even that, there's not much connection when we just saying it out like that. I want to give it some meaning to everyone. Let's look at it like this. That the entire creation has your name on it. A much simpler way of putting it. You won't see it translated like this anywhere. So it's like it's everything we see, whether it be us, the creation of ourselves, the creation of law, or the way everything works, the creation within diseases, within whatever happens, the law of system, that way things work, has got God's name on it. To understand that even further, to simplify it where the penny will drop. Vernave nahi ko thaun. Who wants to put this into a sentence now?
So anything that's without the Guru's name, there isn't a place, because Otaini Hega, where God isn't.
Yeah, so basically it is that. But let's just put it into simple words so that we can all take something away today that we won't forget. An amazing way to look at this is saying there is no place without your signature to it. You know, when somebody makes a painting, they have their signature on it. What does it mean that there's no place without God's name? There's no place within the creation or within the law of system that is being created in our bodies that does not have God's name signed to it to say this is a creation of God. What does that do for us? Now that puts into perspective what Naam actually is. Naam is losing me, where I can no longer remain. Because it's saying that when I now start seeing the creation, let's take it from being a seed to a tree to how things happen. When I go and look at this amazing creation of yours, I will have to put my hands up and say, I cannot sign this because it's not designed by me. It's not done by me. This has been created by you. I've not created a tree. I've not created air. The air has your name on it. You've signed it too because it's your creation, it's not my creation. So what's happening? My eye is coming out. That's what it means to focus on the name. It means when I'm losing my own ego, to having to surrender, to admit that it is you that has created all of this and not me. When I can start to see His hand in everything. Let me just give you an example now. Guru Nanak Dev Ji focused on God's name, but not necessarily in the way that we have made it into today. We think in focus on God's name means just to say the word Vaheguru in the morning. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was in awe of being able to see God's name in everything, His signature to it. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, Vismad Pokha Vismad Bhog. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, a Vismad means when you go in this, when you're in awe of something, when you're just wonderstruck. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, I'm in awe of Waheguruji's design element of Pok, of hunger. This is just one thing I'm taking. Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying that look at this concept of hunger. Imagine having a stomach and having a body and needing to eat, but not having an element of design of hunger and not knowing when we need to eat. What will happen? We'll end up probably being malnourished, not having enough, not knowing when, not eating enough. But look at the detail of his design. Guru Nanak Dev Ji looked at this concept of hunger and said, the way that's been created, he said, I can see your name to it because I couldn't do that. I haven't created, I haven't got the power to do that. I can't change that. I can't even say that I no longer want to get hungry from today. So I can't put my name to that design. And then Guru Nanak Dev Ji saying that Vismad book, saying, look at this amazing thing where book, like, I can't now have power over the way it comes and the way for it not to come or for it to come. I have no power over it. So what am I doing? I'm losing my name. Naam means losing your ego. It's saying when you just can't now take God's name out of it. Guru Nanak Dev Ji didn't stop there though. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, let's go a step further. This is in Vismad Bokha. I'm in awe of that design element of your concept of hunger. And then they said that Vismad Bog. Said, but I'm in awe of this design element of Bog meaning to have that ability to be able to enjoy something. Imagine now God didn't create this ability to enjoy. Imagine that I'm only taking this concept of hunger and enjoy with food, but it can be put into many things in life. Imagine eating something, you felt hungry, you eat something, and so you might even have the taste sense, but there's no such ability, nothing's been created for you to have the ability to enjoy something where within your mind you have this element of being able to enjoy something. Imagine not having that. How much drive are you going to actually have to have more of that? Have enough of that. How much drive are you going to have? You might even feel the hunger, but you might put it off because there's nothing that you're going to enjoy about it. So you might even then put off hunger for a little while, but because then hunger is kicking in so much, you go and eat something, but there's no element of having the ability to enjoy that while you're eating, so then you don't eat enough of it because you're not enjoying it. But Guru Nanak is saying, wow, look at this perfect element of design of your work. He says, I can't put my name to this creation of being able to enjoy something. I don't know how it's done. I don't know how to put that into people. I don't know how that's created. So even in that virnave nahi ko thao, there is no place, not even in Bog, not even in the element of being able to enjoy something. Even in that place, your name is there. There is no place without your name, not even in hunger, not even in being able to enjoy. Just going to look at these two examples, so we're not going to overdo kind of our minds so that I don't want to forget these things. And what's happening, that's focusing on God's name. That His name can't be taken out of anywhere. So hopefully from this, you're able to have that little bit of ability to start looking at things in a different way of what it means to be connecting to God's name and losing yourself in being in awe of God in itself and not just empty saying a word. So remember we started off with having that connection inside of being led. How does that happen? That happens, we're not able to do that, have that inner connection because we have doubts. And we're constantly, our mind is doubting, we're not sure about something. Our mind is always not got faith. But what does the Guru do for us? The Guru starts to eradicate our doubts. That's what the Guru does. We have questions, the Guru answers our questions. That's why when Guru Nanak Dev Ji was asked a question from the yogic masters and said, where did you accumulate all your powers from? We've heard that you have many powers and you've been showing your powers in the world. They said, show us some. Guru Nanak said, I only have 2 powers. Guru Nanak says, Gur Sangat Bani Bina Duji Ot Nahi Harai. They said, my only support and power I have in life, Guru Nanak said, is the Guru's word. And Guru Nanak's Guru is Parmeshwar, is Vaheguru Ji themselves. This says the Guru's word and this is the Guru's teaching, which is Waheguru Ji, and this is the Guru Sangat. Those people that collectively come together and contemplate on the Guru's teaching to understand the Guru's teaching, they said that is my only support in life. And that's how we get back to that connection, is through the Bani, is contemplating on the Bani with Sad Sangat, losing ourselves and our questions being answered, our doubts going, our mind then starts to stabilize. Meditation can be happening every moment in your life. A time will come, no matter where we go, we won't be able to get rid of God's name from whatever we're seeing, whatever is happening. Whatever I do, my action brings back something very negative that I didn't want. I eat something, I drink something that has caused me to have cancer. But I am in acceptance of that too, because I can see God's name in that, because I can see within the design element of eating and consuming such things, the reaction of that is that. And I can see God's name in that too. And that's how a system works. You start to be in awe of every system of God. You can accept, but that acceptance doesn't mean being passive. You can still be active in being in acceptance of God's system. So it's very important to understand these things. So to get to that point, to have that inner deep connection, our mind to start stabilizing, Gurbani is that path, Gurbani is that way.